Right, hello everyone, welcome to the video. So this is the bit where I'd usually go, ooh, some roller coasters are good and some are bad, wow. But the truth is, this is the only video I can motivate myself to make at the moment because it's incredibly easy to make. So yeah, some of these coasters are genuinely bad, some of them are just not great, and some of them are so bad they're good. But I'm going to start it off with something I can talk about a bit because it's got some news at the moment, and that is the Ultimate at Lightwater Valley. Now this is a coaster that I don't think is genuinely bad. I think the Ultimate is ridiculously good. Can I justify that claim? Absolutely not. So the Ultimate opened in 1991 as the world's longest roller coaster, and it's 7,442 feet long. Now that's pretty quick. No, that's not quick. That's pretty long. It's had a fairly troubled history because, when it was being built, the people that built it started, I don't know. They had various different people trying to complete the coaster because things happened, including British Rail. So it's time for me to make a joke. British Rail are bad and they built a roller coaster. Everyone laughed. But honestly, it was just done as a bit of a bodge job. It's incredibly rough, and there's a bunch of turns that just aren't banked anywhere near as much as they should be. It's such a brutal ride. It slams you into corners. It's stupidly rough. You get cool airtime. It's a mental ride, and I like it more than I should. But it also is genuinely very painful, and I have seen people get off it with bruised legs. Anyway, so I was on about some news with this ride, which is something I can talk about as filler. Don't know what else I'm going to talk about in this video, because the Ultimate has basically been closed over the past 2 years, over the pandemic, because the park's been losing money and they've been trying to move to a family audience, which basically involves shutting all their main rides. Yeah, I'm not going to complain. Although, no, I am going to complain. It's really annoying. Anyway, this week, Lightwater Valley got bought by the people that own Brighton Pier, which is scary because if you'd seen Brighton Pier... Anyway, it got bought for only £5 million, which is not very much money. So the Brighton Pier people have basically been talking about the Ultimate a bit, and they've said they haven't ruled any options out, and the family-oriented strategy hasn't been tested, so they don't know if it's working or not. They've said they're aware of how iconic it is, and I think by the sounds of it, they want to get it back up and working, but they know it's going to take a lot of work. And they said there are a lot of options to shorten it a little or change its track. Now, that of course means it's getting RMC. So anyway, pray for the Ultimate, so that hopefully in the future we will continue to be able to double the circumference of our knees with bruises. Anyway, talking of Brighton Pier, here's a cool connection. The next bad roller coaster is all of the Pinfari Zyklons in the UK, and if you don't know what that is the type of roller coaster that's at Brighton Pier. Or the big one, the turbo one, never been on it, but apparently these roller coasters are awful, and I can see why they're awful, because they look just, track profiling, the restraints, the roughness, everything, they just look horrible. There's quite a few of these in the UK, but I can't be bothered actually trying to find out which other ones there are, so on to the next one. Infusion at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. So me and all the other coaster enthusiasts like to think we're cool by calling a roller coaster bad. Yep, I wish I was joking. Infusion is Vekoma SLC, and well, if you're watching this video, you probably know they're known for being bad, and they are bad, because, they just shake you around a lot and bang your head. The layout's fairly interesting, but oh god, you don't notice because it just hurts. But sometimes the front row of Infusion isn't actually that bad. When I've got front row on it, it's hurt a lot less than all the other rows. In terms of Infusion compared to other SLCs, it's probably towards the better side of them, but that doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination, that it's not very painful. Now, speaking of SLCs, there's also Odyssey at Fantasy Island, which is it's got a cool layout, and it's the 3rd tallest coaster in the country. It's the tallest SLC in the world. It's at Fantasy Island. It was originally planned to be a hyper coaster of a 200-foot hyper SLC. Don't blame them for not doing that. It turned out only actually being 167 foot, which is still pretty huge for one of these. What I've heard is pretty painful, probably similar to Infusion, but people don't complain that much about it just because it's big, and also because no one really rides it. But yeah. Oh, actually, because I'm unorganized, let's go back to Pleasure Beach for a minute, because there's quite a few rides there that hurt. The big one hurts a lot. I went like last week and it hurt. I go to Pleasure Beach a lot and I usually think it hurts. Sometimes I think it's okay, but last time I went on the big one, it did hurt a lot, and that last time was last week. Yeah, big one's not actually that bad though. But also at Pleasure Beach, Big Dipper hurts a fair amount, but not too much, and the Grand National hurts a lot. So with all these rides at Pleasure Beach that hurt, generally the trains have 3 or 4 rows on a car, and the 2 rows at the end of each individual car are the ones that hurt the most, because they're on the wheels, which basically means when you're going around corners and stuff, they pivot the most, so you get shaken around the most. Now, Grand National out of these is definitely the worst, and it's the hardest to avoid this roughness, because there's only 3 rows in a train, so there's only 1 row that isn't a wheel seat that doesn't hurt too much. The Grand National really does shake you around a lot though, and it can come off being very painful. Having said that though, a little bit like the Ultimate, I also really love this ride for some reason. I don't know why, but I like really rough coasters a lot because I just think it's funny. Grand National is also just really fun. You know, you're racing the other train. There's a lot of airtime and a lot of kind of cool moments that catch you off guard, like the double down and the almost second double down thing. Having said that though, I can understand why some people, especially ones that are a little bit older, can't enjoy this kind of ride if it does hurt you that much. What have we got next? Some people say Saw the Ride at Thorpe Park is painful and bad, and they're incorrect because it just isn't as bad as they say it is. Colossus, I can't be bothered pretending I know much about Thorpe Park because its age is... Yeah, I'm not gonna... You know what, the rest of you can argue about these 2 rides at Thorpe Park being painful. Personally, I don't care because I hardly ever go to Thorpe Park. Okay, so I've saved the best till last. No, I've saved the worst till last. But before I reveal that, this is the bit where I say, oh, if I've missed one, which I probably have, put it in the comments or something. Oh, I don't know. Thinking about it, this list hasn't really been the worst roller coasters in the UK. It's been more the most painful roller coasters in the UK. Because some of the ones I've said, I do actually quite like. But this last one, just the worst, not the best, the worst, is horrible. Oh, there's no enjoyment in it whatsoever. It's pure pain. It's quite obvious if you know what I'm on about. It's Hero at Flamingo Land. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to get a cement mixer and put a cage inside of that cement mixer and put a human inside of that cage, that's Hero. Yeah, Hero. It's fun because you're lying down, basically in a cage, not really held in very much apart from a bit of a strap behind your back, and then it is literally a cage. And while you're lying down like that, you go through a jerky, rough, not exactly rough, but a bit rough, but just a horrible track layout. Now, the thing about Hero is, you know, I can talk about why it's bad and why it really does hurt quite a lot. But the thing that really confuses me about this ride is that there are cloned rides of this that exist and have existed before Hero. And somehow someone working for Flamingo Land has gone out to another country and ridden one of those roller coasters and thought, oh, you know what, let's spend £8 million to use a piece of land in our park to hurt people and make them want to go home. I mean, this ride genuinely does annoy me a lot because of what I've just mentioned, but also because I know quite a few people who, you know, are a bit scared of roller coasters. They need to go on one that doesn't look quite scary to get them into it or whatever, and they've done Hero as their first one. That's not a great introduction to roller coasters, and if that puts them off, then it's Flamingo Land's fault. So yeah, that's the ones that I had. That's the painful roller coasters I wanted to talk about. I'm a fan of a lot of them. I'm not a fan of others. Don't know why I've titled this video the worst roller coasters in the UK if they're just the most painful, but you know what? I made a video. It's been like 2 months. Oh, does anyone actually watch this channel anymore?